Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to yet another week of RU ESports, the show that kind of sounds like it should have a question mark at the end of it. I'm your host, David Simo Rabinovich. Alongside me, my co-host, Joseph. What's going on, my man?
Hi, how are you doing?
We've got a lot of information for you guys to digest today. We're obviously going to be talking a lot about League of Legends today. There was a lot that happened this past weekend with the North American LCS and the European LCS. We're going to briefly talk about CSGO just a little bit, just a little snippet to talk about the next major happening in America, MLG. And then we're going to talk about our discussion for this week is about Dota 2, about the fact that the host for the Shanghai major was removed from the broadcast, but we'll get into that a little bit later. And our discussion of the week, if you want to comment or somehow be a part of the discussion, you can tweet at us on Twitter, RU ESports. And the discussion for this week is about, relative to Dota 2, it's kind of, should personalities be hosts for big tournaments? Yes or no? But we'll get into that a little bit later. And I mean personalities is in the fact that not actual, they might not know the game, or their primary career is to entertain through YouTube, Twitch, whatever, Twitter even. And they're brought on as hosts. So that's gonna be the discussion for this week. But let's get right into the North American LCS. Just to start you guys off with the current standings, Immortals sitting at 13-1. We'll talk about that one just a little bit later. CLG in second place, 10-4, looking hot. C9 in third place, 9-5. TSM 8-6 in fourth place. Energy and Liquid tied for fifth at 7-7. TIP in seventh place, is tied with Echo Fox at 5-9. Dignitas 4-10, and then Renegades bottom of the barrel 2-10. But we'll talk about that too, because something interesting happened this weekend. And let's dive right in to Immortals and CLG. That like where, you know what? That Immortals game versus CLG, I think Immortals played a little sloppy. I mean, of course, they caught out CLG out of position quite a few times, and they were able to capitalize on some of the mistakes. But it was honestly, CLG just played smart.
It was actually a really close game, like all things considered. Both teams were playing really, really well, and also both teams were playing really, really bad. I mean, they were playing pretty decently. They were rotating well and stuff, but both teams just had they were just making very silly mistakes. And they did camp Hooney, so you can't really blame all of his deaths on his performance since he was camped. But I was watching the game, and I just noticed, like, CLG, it was always back and forth, and then CLG did take the lead at a certain point, but they were making stupid mistakes sometimes too. So in the end, like, Immortals did not get stomped. It was a very close game. Yeah,
no, for sure. But what this does say, obviously, is that Immortals they're obviously not as immortal as they once thought.
Nope.
But you can hear it in the interview. I think Wild Turtle was saying how they're starting to get a little complacent. They're starting to play a little bit sloppier, and they're kind of letting their.
But how can you not? Going undefeated, you can't. You can't always have your foot on the gas pedal. Even though Fnatic did it last split, it's incredibly hard to stay at that level an entire season.
Yeah.
One loss is nothing to be ashamed of. You could see at the end of the game, no one was like in tears, or no one was really upset. They were laughing. They were like, "Oh well, we lost one," but yeah, come on. They lost one game. It's okay. It'll be okay.
I mean, you also have to take into consideration the fact that Fnatic also had a couple of close games in their split. But people always said, even when they looked like they were behind, they were ahead, which is crazy. Which is crazy to think that Fnatic had that power. And Immortals has some of that caliber as well, but unfortunately, CLG just had the better half. And you know what I saw this weekend from CLG? I saw a refined, trained, determined team. Like they faced up against Cloud9 on the second day, and what was actually a close game, it always felt like CLG had this strong level of confidence throughout the entire match. While C9 was able to make some plays, the game ended with a really, really close kill ratio. So it was both teams were about like around 20 kills each, but at the end of it all, CLG had like a significant gold lead. Darshan was split pushing like no other. Cloud9 lost a 4v5, and CLG is just look like I would say that they could even rival Immortals for that top spot. If the standings were a lot closer, I would say that CLG would be able to rival for that first place in America.
Yeah, I'm going to guess that CLG put a lot of prep into this weekend because they were against, first of all, Immortals, who are undefeated, and of course Cloud9, who are also doing really, really well recently. So I'm just going to assume that they really wanted to be the ones to take Immortals down, and they just put a lot of prep. They played really well. Like, you can see the gold. It was really back and forth, but CLG was like ahead most of the game. There was only certain parts where Immortals would get back with towers and get the gold back, but it was really close. But CLG was in control for most of the game. So they did their homework. They put a lot of prep into it, and I'm gonna assume that anyways, and it showed.
Absolutely, and you have to give credit to who's at the front line of CLG currently. You also have to take into consideration what was their strategy going into both games, and what it seemed like was the fact that Xmithy, can you come sit top for a bit? Hey, Xmithy.
Yeah.
Hey, do you mind setting up a tent and maybe a little bit of a campfire in my lane? But I mean, like, they had to do that, right? Against Cloud9, Balls is often considered the strongest link or the weakest link. And for the past couple of weeks, he's been looking really good. So obviously they're like, okay, Darshan, way better than Balls. So what do? Let's just get Darshan ahead. Let's get Darshan ahead. And what CLG did really well also this past weekend was they capitalized on mistakes. And to be honest with you, I think that that's something we haven't really seen before. As far as the old CLG roster is concerned.
Well, in both games, actually, Darshan really did work. Like, this guy was always taking a turret. He was always at inhib. Especially at the end of the Immortals game, it came down to that Baron where Darshan took the inhib, and then Immortals wanted to counter. They're like, okay, let's take the Baron. As soon as he got the inhib, he backed off. Right after that, they went onto the Baron again. Darshan's like, fine, you're going to take Baron? I'm going to take your base turrets. He went back. He pulled the pressure back. Who he had to recall, and the rest of the team was way too low to do Baron. Darshan basically toyed with the entire enemy team just in that one sequence of plays. That's ridiculous. He really did work this game. Especially, he was camped by Xmithy, who helped him out, but they like, there's nothing wrong with that. They succeeded in shutting Huni down. Look at his score. He was 0-4-4. That's Huni. Like, that's great. It's not a bad thing to camp someone. It's smart. And it worked. It got them the win.
Absolutely. And I think that it's interesting how, to me, it felt like the Cloud9 CLG game was a lot closer than the Immortal CLG game.
Yeah.
Because it felt like the entire team was putting in work, whereas against Immortals, I'm pretty sure Huni did not expect to be camped. Wild Turtle and Adrian were playing out of their mind. They played with Stixay and Afrobu like it was absolutely nothing. But what really won CLG the game against Immortals was Darshan and Xmithy. Whereas against the C9 game, it felt like both teams were just at each other's throats, and it was more of like a equalized game between the two. And I'm surprised because I thought it literally looked like Immortals was just like, damn, like we didn't go full force there.
I wouldn't say they didn't go full force. Like, they definitely gave it their all. Like, they were doing pretty good. Like, you can't, every single game you're not going to be ahead in gold all the time. And you could see they were behind in gold. They're behind gold up to the 14-minute mark. Basically, they were ahead in gold that entire period. Then Immortals came back, had a small gold lead, and then like a couple minutes later goes right back to CLG. And then towards the end, Immortals got it right back. So I think, I don't know, Immortals played okay. Like, they weren't ahead in gold, but they took it back, which is amazing. They were down, they were ahead 2K gold CLG, and somehow Immortals managed to get a 2K gold lead back again at 34 minutes. Like,
okay,
like, how do you? That's pretty impressive.
Let me break something down to you real quick. The reason I've been watching Immortal games just a little bit here and there, but you can already tell what their style is just by watching, just by paying attention, and you can even see it in some of the numbers. If you take a look, Poe Belter, he has a 100 creep score advantage over his opponent Huhi. Wild Turtle, he has a 120 CS advantage over Stixay. Now, what does that mean? That probably doesn't mean anything. Well, first of all, Immortals plays with incredible wave control. If you like, one of the games that like most notably I can remember is Poe Belter would play Lux like all the time, and he would just use his ult to push waves. He would use his ult to clean the waves. He would farm like no other, this entire team is based on keeping the waves pushed, keeping the enemy threats in the lanes, so Rainover and Huhi can have a field day. But what happened in this game? Well, CLG screwed around with Rainover, who picked a really unimpactful jungler pre-6. Gragas wasn't able to do anything pretty much until, he was able to get back on his feet, whereas Xmithy was already starting to power farm. As you can see, his farm is like insanely way higher than Rainover's. And Huni, who's obviously he's got the same CS as Darshan, which is impeccable considering he was ganked nonstop. But you have to think Immortals knows about objectives. They know how to make a game seem more on their side than it probably needs to be. They just have great game knowledge. That's what it really boils down to. I mean, they obviously have great skill as well. I'm not saying no to that. But their game knowledge is just crazy. It's crazy. And they also have a really good coach who was a part of TSM previously. He was an analyst for TSM before. So
besides Darshan doing a lot of work in both of these games, another person who did a crazy amount of work was Aframu on Bard.
Yeah.
Like, holy hell. This guy would go into that, especially in the Immortals game, I noticed, he would just walk into the jungle and just interfere with any of the camps that were being taken. He did it right at the beginning of the game, like with the Gromp. While Turtle Nation were trying to take it, and he almost stole it. Like, he definitely delayed them there. Like, he was messing with them. He almost took it. He didn't, but then he comes back later, and he's messing with Rainover when he's trying to take the red buff.
Yeah.
Rainover had to smite early because he ran out of mana, and he kept doing that all game, kept putting pressure. Not only that, he was playing out of his mind with the Qs and the journeys and the ults, whatever. Like, especially the second game. Like, we were watching it earlier, and we were watching the Cloud9 game, and there's a point like right at the beginning of the game where Aframu just stands in the middle of the lane in front of the turret, and Cloud9 they can't push him. They have to just stand there and have a face off with him while in the background Stixay is just like farming for free, and literally High and Sneaky could not do anything against a Bard, and it was like level 1 or level 2.
Yeah,
like he put so much pressure, and he was landing those binds, and his passages came clutch. His ult saved Smithy. Like, Aframu is an amazing Bard, especially in these two games, and him and Darshan basically won both of these games for their team.
Yeah, absolutely. But let's not just sit on Immortals and CLG for the entire show. I think that would be quite tiresome. I do want to touch on a bet that we had last week. Last week, I put down my gonads on the table, and I said that Echo Fox would beat TSM. I was really confident. Echo Fox was
you were really confident.
Echo Fox was on a 2-week spree. They were 4-0. They were wrecking balls. I'm
surprised they're not going to win the whole league. I mean, they won 2 games in a week. That's unheard of.
Kicking asses and taking names, and then I thought they were going to take TSM's too. And mind you, TSM is 4th place. They're not doing too hot. They were coming off of I think of a 0-2 week.
If you're going to bring up the standings, let me just say the standings. They tell what happened in the past. They don't really tell what's going to happen in the future. Literally, they're there to see what has happened in the past. They are not a future teller. So I really hate when people just go to the leaderboards to predict the future.
Okay, listen.
There's a lot more factors than that, including the players who are on the team.
Listen.
Well, I'm not angry. I mean, I won the bet.
Yeah,
I'm happy.
No. Yeah.
Wait, who did you make the bet with again?
You. And hold on.
Wait.
Let me explain my reasoning, okay? And my reasoning.
Wait, who am I?
Joseph, Lord Joseph.
Yeah, that's right.
Lord Joseph, yeah. So the bet was if I lost, whoever would win would call the other Lord and their name for the rest of the...
David and
Lord Joseph.
Yeah, that's right.
And Lord Joseph, yeah. So let me explain my reasoning to you, Lord Joseph.
Your wrong reasoning.
TSM was on an 0-2 week, I think. They just fired their coach. They were looking like a hot mess. They had spaghetti in their hair. They were not looking to comb it out. So they come in. Echo Fox is on like a spree, but they're playing the same double AD comp, and they're just like, hey, let's go for the rest of the series. This is the weeks playing a double AD comp.
Who is that? Who?
That's you, Lord Joseph.
No. Well, that sounded like someone on TSM.
So
was it Reggie?
Yeah, it's Reggie.
Oh,
so
wow.
TSM was like, you know what? This doubled AD comp, let's counter it. Let's not let them push us around like that. But sure, Echo Fox lost. Lord Joseph, yes, you are the victor of the bet. But Liquid, who would you put higher, Liquid or Echo Fox?
Liquid.
Liquid. Okay, fine, sure. I would put Echo Fox above Liquid, but that's just my personal opinion. Liquid is a middle of the pack team. Yes.
Yep.
Would you say TSM is better than Liquid?
Yeah, I'd say so.
So then, why did TSM lose?
I
Okay, so that's where my reasoning was coming from.
Yeah,
if
but-
TSM could lose from a middle of the pack to the bottom of the
Okay,
pack.
upsets happen. It's not like upsets like it's not like if a top tier like if Immortals loses to CLG, that doesn't just make CLG the best team ever. And this kind
No,
of
no, I know.
but actually
I know.
this reminds me of did you ever hear about that unofficial world champion of League of Legends? Did you hear about what that was?
What's that?
It was this thing where basically I think they went from they must have gone from the season 1 world championships. So if you start off with Fnatic, any team that beats Fnatic would become the world championship. So any team
Oh
that beat
my
that team,
God.
and I think they tracked it down so that it was like Cloud9 were the world championships of the champions, and then I think at like season 3 worlds, I think Alliance was the world champions, and
Wow.
Kaboom beat them. Right?
Wow.
So then Kaboom was the unofficial world champion, and it went back to Brazil, and then it was bouncing around Brazil for a really long time until there was some kind of international tournament. Someone took it from them, obviously, and the mindset of if a lower tier team beats a top tier team, it's not the end of the world at all.
I know. But here, I was watching this daily esports video earlier today, and okay, TSM was doing really good when they had their coach. I know the coach.
Talking about the coach, the sports.
I think
guy.
it was Woodbuck or something.
The guy, but not the actual like in-game knowledge. The guy that's like the actual sports coach.
I think so.
I think that's what they fired. Yeah.
Yeah. So they were doing well with him. I think they were like 8-4 or like 7-5. I don't know. They were doing pretty good. And they were facing up against top tier teams. Now, since the firing of the coach, they've been facing middle of the pack to bottom tier teams, and they've been doing terribly.
Well, Liquid's not.
I'm not saying the sports coach is a direct, cause and causation, whatever correlation of their losses, but I do have to say that TSM I would place below the fifth spot. I would say TSM is the middle of the pack.
I think tip and below is low tier. And I think then you get to the medium tier, and then I think like CLG and Immortals are probably like the two best teams. So I think from basically maybe Cloud9's the top tiers. So TSM to Liquid, I would say are like middle of the pack. Like that, even the standings do show that, but I would say tip and everything below are really bad. There's the two god teams, and then the middle of the pack team. So I think Liquid and TSM are fairly on par. Again, the standings do tell the past, but the standings do actually tell pretty well like their correlation to each other. I think TSM has better players and better structure, whatever.
I think the standings don't tell anything, and I mean it's because Echo Fox just fairly recently got their correct roster.
Yeah.
So I don't think the standings say anything. If you want SEMO's power rankings of NA,
oh boy,
Immortals, CLG, C9, Liquid,
really,
Echo Fox,
what?
NRG, TSM, TIP, DIG, Renegade.
Okay,
that's my
I don't
power
care about
ranking.
the top. I don't care about the bottom. But you're saying that Echo Fox are better than NRG and TSM.
Yeah, because
Dig.
NRG lost to TIP. I'm not.
Okay.
I know you just said that doesn't matter.
Okay, but TIP had some crazy upsets. That's
also,
not...
NRG don't have a real AD carry right now. NRG are missing a player from their team. I know Impact.
Wait, that was last week that they lost? Who did they play with this weekend? I don't know.
LOD.
Oh,
They
Laud, yeah,
played
that's
with
right.
Laud.
I forgot
Yeah.
about that.
So I mean, you lose one player, you can still
Okay,
still play.
NRG are still a better team than Echo Fox. Come on.
No, oh my god.
Are we doing another bet? When are they playing next?
Oh goodness.
When do they play?
Let's see what is next week the last week of LCS?
There's no LCS this week. It'll be the week after.
It'll be the week after.
Echo
Fox versus Dignitas. That's a win for Echo Fox. Echo Fox versus CLG. That's going to be a win for CLG. I'll admit that.
No, they don't play
Echo Fox versus Cloud9, and then...
Okay, well, how about this? If you think that they're a better team, you would agree that they're going to be higher in the standings than the NRG.
By the end of the split.
By the end of the split?
By the end
Are we
of the
making
split.
another one, a bet?
Yeah, because this we'll still have our radio show when the season ends.
Yeah,
so
of course.
I'm gonna make the bet that NRG
are going to be lower than Tip.
low. No,
I mean, Echo Fox.
Echo Fox. Yeah, yeah.
Okay,
I'm making that bet.
I'm saying that Energy will definitely be above Echo Fox. I will even think that they're going to be at least 2 places above Echo Fox. I mean, I'm not going to put that in there because that. Yeah, I think there's no. Okay, dude, wake up. You really think Energy are worse than Echo Fox? Are you crazy?
Yeah.
Are you out of your mind?
Yes.
Yeah, you are. I know you are out of your mind.
Oh my goodness. Okay, I'm gonna tweet something out, ladies and gentlemen, on RU _esports. It's gonna be one of those poll question things. Echo Fox or Energy above one another in the standings. And
Dude,
what are the stakes of this bet though?
We're doing the Lord thing again, are we?
No, we gotta up the stakes.
Okay, what else can we do?
We gotta up the stakes, ladies and gentlemen.
I don't really want to bet money, but if you're that confident.
Okay, how about this? How about this?
Why don't we do like okay, what if we get like a marker or something, and then you have to okay, if I lose, I have to put Echo Fox is number 1 on my forehead.
Oh.
But if Energy is better, you have to put Energy as number 1 on your forehead.
For like the entire show?
Just for a picture and then put it on Facebook.
Yeah, sure. Down.
Sweet.
That's the bet. That's the bet, ladies and gentlemen. If you guys want to
if you have any markers, you can donate them to us.
No, not
page.
the markers. I put up a poll on Twitter.
If anyone is a makeup artist and can draw an Energy or Echo Fox logo, please contact us on our Facebook page.
But yeah, that's gonna be the bet. I think I'm a strong believer in Echo Fox. Like that's like literally, if you ask me, David, what are your favorite teams in NA? Immortals, C9, Echo Fox. Those are like
what we should do.
That's my bread and butter, right?
The loser has to buy the other player
the jersey
of their team. That's it's gonna run you like $60, but
Echo Fox doesn't have a jersey
yes,
yet.
They do. Actually, I really wanted their jersey. And their store was supposed to be up. Like they had a countdown, 30 days, and I had it bookmarked and I had a reminder. And the day before I check, and they just like took it down.
They don't have.
They had a store and they had a countdown, but I guess something didn't happen.
Yeah, so I'm gonna stick with that.
Yeah, we'll save that for another.
We'll stick with that.
Oh, they took down their store tab.
But yeah. Let's move on to something. I think is that it for NA? No, we have to talk about. So we talked about the upsets. TIP beat Energy. Liquid beat TSM. Renegades beat Dignitas. I'm not surprised. Renegades has the potential to be a decent team.
They have the potential to beat Renegades easily.
Well, I don't know. I think Renegades has a lot of potential. I mean, they have some interesting team, but I think they just play like babies. I
think they have potential in the lower half of the NALCS. That's reasonable.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
They can beat any of the teams below Team Impulse. For sure.
And one interesting little tidbit of information, ladies and gentlemen, Ember is a Challenger Series team in NA. They're trying to make it big. They're throwing around money to pick up players. And recently, Huna, or I think that's the name of the team in Europe, was a Challenger team, and Santorin was on it, and a couple of other people were on it, and they weren't being paid, and that's very common in the Challenger Series. But Ember is paying Santorin $105,000 for his contract, and they're having him come over to Ember. So I don't think Santorin is worth 6 bills, 5 zeros with one.
Okay, you have to remember. You have to remember he was on I want to call them a world-class team, whatever. They have world experience. Santorin got to go to Worlds. He got to play in a top team in the NALCS. So for a challenger team, I mean, and if you have the dough to spend it, then it's not a bad pickup at all. It's pretty decent considering there's not really much in terms of junglers in the challenger scene. So taking Santorin is a great deal.
Yeah, but
$100,000.
The cost of a really nice car.
I feel like Santorin definitely owes these guys so much. I don't think he told them that's how much it'll cost. That's how much his buyout was to get out of his contract. So Santorin, he probably knew that, and so this money, he's gonna take it, but he definitely knows he owes Ember a lot. So he's probably gonna either play out of his mind or maybe give them a deal on the next contract he gets, because he was stuck on that team that had a lot of financial issues. Everything was going to shit, basically. So he must be ecstatic to be out of that team and onto a better I'm a more stable team.
Yeah, but they didn't even make it to the challenger scene.
They didn't?
They're like their record is no.
No, they must.
They're so
I don't really know. I don't watch the challengers much.
I'm taking a look at the standings right now, and the semifinal is next Tuesday and next Wednesday. And I honestly don't think with the situation that's going on right now with Huna.
But are they still?
Huma.
Are they in
the
the standing still?
They're in a semifinal, but they
still have a chance though.
They still have a chance.
Well, who are the other teams? There's like Team Liquid Academy or something.
So look, they first week they lost, second week they won, third week there was a tie, then fourth week.
What's their situation right now?
I think their team is just an entire mess. But anyways, that's besides the point. The point is Santorin is rolling in the dough right now. So that's the point. That's the point of the discussion.
Yeah, but like I said, I don't think he's gonna I don't think he can't. I don't think he's gonna give the money back. But that was the buyout for his contract. He probably begged them to please buy me out. I will totally make this up. I will practice. I will play out of my mind. I will make it worth your while. I'll get you to LCS, whatever. So it's not like he's like, hey, I made so much money. This is great. I'm worth $100,000.
I know, but I just think that like if he wasn't doing a whole lot of spectacular things on TSM, I think his skill cap is capped. I think we know what he's capable of.
Maybe.
And I don't think that he'll bring a whole lot to Ember. Sure. No, he'll carry them out of the Challenger Series. He'll come into the NALCS. He's going to be the saving grace.
True.
No,
he's going to okay. Oh yeah, no, maybe he won't get far in LCS, but he's definitely bringing a lot to Ember for sure.
Yeah, I wouldn't.
He's not bringing nothing to. He's bringing a lot to the team. A lot more than they had.
Yeah.
So yeah. Mm-hmm. I mean, okay, best case scenario that happens to them is they get to LCS. Maybe they grab they upgrade a few players, but they're just going to be another bottom tier team unless they do some crazy
Lord Joseph.
thing.
Lord Joseph.
Uh-huh.
I just don't think he's worth $105,000.
No, I don't think so either. But I told you the reason why I think he.
Okay,
has
done.
$100,000.
Moving on. Let's move on to the European LCS. We are getting a little sidetracked here. Just a brief standing update. 3 teams tied for first place: G2, Team Vitality, H2K at 11-3. I'm not surprised. Those are literally the deserving teams to be at the top of the standings.
Yep.
UOL in 4th place at 9-5. Fnatic in 5th place at 8-6. No surprise there either. Origin 7-7. Still surprised about that. Elements and Splice tied for 7th place, 4-10. Rockcat 3-11. And 9th place in Giants 2-12 at 10th place. Now, while Europe might not be interesting to a whole lot of people because it's just this mess of Swedish and Danish people fighting each other, there's a couple of interesting things happening. Rockcat took a game off of UOL, so that means that their roster changes are slowly starting to put in work. We might see Rockcat a middle of the pack team come summer. It's very possible with their roster swaps. Giants, they released a statement fairly recently, as they have been doing a couple of roster swaps of their own. They're picking up Smitty J, who I think was a part of Dignitas in some capacity.
I think that's Core. You think of Core JJ.
Core J. Oh, okay. These
guys are just a bunch of like. Why are we even talking about this? Well, they just changed some players. Who cares?
Okay, listen. I'm gonna read the comment. Okay, during preseason, we decided to include in our lineup of players full of youth and potential, even though we knew the risks that move could entail. Well, yeah, you can see it now. Unfortunately, those risks became facts, and we are now compelled to make several modifications in our lineup, which means a restart in our project in order to maximize our probabilities of keeping our place in the championship series, as well as to obtain better results in the future.
I like how they call it a modification. They don't even call it like an upgrade or a change. Literally, it's just shifting around different players who are bad.
They kicked out 3 bad players, and they picked up another 3 bad players. No, they picked up.
I think Koreans actually. I think 2 of them are
exactly.
2 of them are Korean. Okay, doesn't make them great.
Picked up
like how remember when Dignitas did that? Like it didn't really sure. Like some of the players are doing okay now, but it didn't work out for them. Just because you get Korean players doesn't mean you're going to be number 1. Like it's not the Fnatic effect's not just going to happen to any team that picks up Koreans. Why? I don't even know why we're talking about Giants. Like they're done. They're done. So
the jungler they picked up, Wisdom. Do you know what team he played for?
I know, a Korean team.
Ku Tigers.
He wasn't on their roster when they were doing good. Is he just a sub?
He was on their roster from May 2015 to December 2015.
Whatever.
He played
man.
in. He
Can
played
we
on
talk
the World.
about good teams?
What do you mean good teams? They picked up.
I'm pretty sure they're in auto relegation. Like, aren't they? They're not. There's no chance for them.
Okay, let's take a look at the AD carry real quick. You're
Quick, hurry up and finish this.
And then he played for Incredible Miracle. He's the no name. He's the no name. Smitty J, he is good. Smitty J's good.
Whatever.
Well, because Smitty J, he played for G2 when they were. He played for G2.
Wow.
Oh my God. I'm just gonna call it right now. Giants. They'll become a middle of the pack team in the summer.
Okay.
If they make it out of the relegation, they'll Rocket and Giants are going to be moving up. Elements and Splice are going to be moving down, and then the rest of the LCS are going to have to figure their life out. Because
I think Giants will be in the same place next, but let's move on.
Whoa.
Let's move on. Can we've already talked about Giants for like 3 minutes, which is 3 minutes too long.
Okay.
There's way better stuff to
All
talk
right,
about.
man. All right. You just don't believe in the.
Should have just said Giants pick up Smitty J, Zhang, and someone else. That's it.
You just don't believe in the Korean power. You just don't believe it. You just don't believe in the Korean prowess.
Let's talk about H2K.
Okay, H2K.
And the big news.
Who cares about H2K? Oh,
You mean one of the best teams in the West?
Well, I mean they're gonna lose their best player, so they're gonna be in
Let's
Giants.
talk about it. Tell them what's going on.
Forgiven is being pulled from his team to go back to Greece and to he's gonna have to join the military. He's got to do his service. There's been like some petition to try to get that changed, but I think the Greek government's just gonna laugh.
No, there's not a petition. I think
I signed a petition.
Okay.
I
think what's going on. I'm pretty sure. Everyone in Greece apparently has to serve in the military at a certain, like, I guess at his age around then. And I'm pretty sure he already, like, they already told him he had to earlier, and then he just delayed it again. And you can delay it. Like, you could tell them your reasons for delaying it, and they might accept it. Like, they're not going to make someone go to the army who really, really doesn't want to go there. And apparently,
sounds like they are.
Well, yeah, he said he got a letter that said he's been drafted and he has to go serve do his time or whatever. And he was really emotional. It was like they lost the game, right? They did lose that game. And I'm pretty sure, you can delay it. And I was looking online. There was actually an article recently, a Greek article, saying most likely he's gonna delay it for another 6 months. And he did say on his Facebook page that he's like loyal to his country and he wants to do it. Like, he wants to be in the military, but he doesn't want to lose his chance now because he's lost a lot of opportunities in the past, and right now he's on one of the best team he's ever been on, in one of his best forms. Yeah. This team has definitely got a chance to be at Worlds, and it's really, really sad that this is going to be taken away from him, basically. Mm-hmm. But anyways, this article said that he could most likely delay it for 6 months, so he can finish this split, but he won't be going to Worlds. I think that he should try his hardest to delay it till after Worlds. Just tell whatever the military, like, please just let me play till Worlds is done. After that, I'll join the army, because if he leaves now and he doesn't play League of Legends for how long was his time? Is it a year? It's a year of service, right?
Maybe. I'm not.
I think it was a year. It might be longer. I think it's either a year or 2 years or something. But if he doesn't play League for a year or 2 years straight, his career's over. Like, he could try to come back. He might still be really, really good. I wouldn't count on it. So this is his last chance, basically, especially now that they're breathing down his throats and telling him he has to go. So if I was him, I would delay it as long as possible. I know you're loyal to your country and you want to serve your country and all that, but you got to delay it. This is your last chance. You're at the top of your career. Do not let this opportunity go to waste. Go to Worlds, lose a Worlds, win a Worlds, whatever. Once you're done, you can go to your military. You can serve your country. That's fine. This is his only chance. You can't go to the military and come back and play. That's really unlikely.
You hear that, Forgiven? If you're listening, honestly, like, sure, he's a great player. He's probably
one of the best in the West.
He's
even the best in the West.
I think I would place him at the top in the West, but I wouldn't say he's like first place. You know what?
I would say he's first or second. Like, I mean, I can't think of anyone like. I mean, Hooney?
Well, I mean, obviously, there's a lot of factors into this, right? So, like, Forgiven, his positioning, or not Forgiven, just in general. When you talk about like a top 80 carry, you talk about positioning, you talk about, mechanical outplay and skill. You talk about their ability to have like a good chemistry with the support. So like if like for example, Reckless, or I still don't know how to pronounce his name.
Reckless. I think it's Reckless.
Reckless.
I think people say Reckless.
Reckless. He was considered like one of the top like 80 carries, and he hopped from team to team, and he played like absolute garbage up until Fnatic had their crazy run. He played like the worst 80 carry I've ever seen. And he was just like heavy farm style, like I hate my team. You could tell when Reckless hates his team. He just farms. That's all he does.
Yep.
I would say I watched like a couple of H2K games, and a majority of the time Forgiven's positioning is really good, but sometimes I think like his only problem as an 80 carry is I think he sometimes lets his confidence get to his head, and then he finds himself in really bad positions. And I've seen his Caitlyn die just out of nowhere. Like it's just like I've seen Forgiven in a bad spot.
I would say
like a few times, very rarely, but a few times.
Would you agree? I think it's for the best player in the West. I'd say it's a coin flip between Niels and Forgiven. Yeah, I'd probably agree. I'd say Niels number 1, Forgiven number 2, and then like even like I want to say Reckless, but like he's good. He's not really like a playmaker. He's kind of just a passive 80 carry. But anyways,
I would love to take you up on that, but I haven't watched a single Origin game, so I don't know how good Niels is actually. And considering that they're 7-7, I guess the problem's the mid lane. I don't know.
Let's talk about IEM.
Sure, that's going to be coming up fairly soon, ladies and gentlemen. In fact, next week.
I think it's this week, isn't it?
Yeah,
this week. Counter-Strike is like tomorrow.
Hypothetically, it's this week. There's no LCS this week. And, to keep in mind, ladies and gentlemen, IEM is your favorite short tournament that happens ever so often. It's like a 2-day thing, and like the league portion is always so boring. I mean, it's good. It's good. Like there's some good games, but it's just too short for me.
Well, international tournaments aren't really the same like anymore.
Yeah.
Because when there's the chat, like the tournament circuit, like those competitions are really hyped. That's the only time you get to see your teams play. Now with the LCS, it's like you see them every week. So, and these IEM like lineups aren't really like the best. Like who's going? I know TSM is going, but they don't have like H2K. Like they don't have many like international teams. It's cool. Like it's definitely entertaining and fun, but not as cool as they used to be. Like there are some crazy IEM moments like in the past, especially before LCS.
I'm taking a look at the teams right now. Let's take a look. League of Legends, there's Group A and Group B. Group A consists of ESC Ever, which is like I would say like one of the best Korean teams. Yeah. Origin, I'm surprised that they went. I don't think Origin deserves really to be there.
No, well, it's not. They don't do it based on current standings. They based it on past IEMs and all that. So
Royal Club, pretty much. Royal Never Give Up. Team Solo Mid, yeah, I get it. And then Group B is SKT, Fnatic, CLG, and another Chinese team.
It's a nice mix. It's a really nice mix, but it's nothing like special. Like the only like international competitions that are really hyped are MSI and Worlds. Like now, like this will be fun to watch. It'll be interesting. It's just for cash and the IM like title, which means like not much anymore. It's it's fun. It's fun to watch. It'll be cool to see SKT play against these teams and all that. But in terms of EU and NA, I don't know how good they'll do. Like there's SKT there, there's ES whatever it was their name.
I'm gonna take a quick moment to give a shout out to a couple of people. The StarCraft portion at Intel Extreme Masters, I believe there are 3 Canadians representing us on the grand stage.
Really?
If you take a look at the StarCraft portion of the playoffs and you start scrolling down the line, you'll see a name that comes out, Huck. Huck is he's been at a couple of esports parties in the area. He was at when StarCraft was here at the Metro Convention Center last summer. He was there. He was doing like this like 2v2 Archon mode thing. So Huck, he's going to be representing Canada. We also have Violet. Violet, if you scroll down just a little bit, she is, hold on, Violet Esports.
The thing about this bracket though is it's a long bracket. Like
Nope.
it is just a bracket.
Never mind, not Violet. I'm thinking of something else.
Look, like it's just.
Hold on, and Violet. That was a mistake. Violet's not. No, Massa.
Yeah.
I know him personally. He's a homie. I went with him to LAN ETS last year, and he just absolutely stumped. Let me tell you a quick story about Massa. We have like a couple minutes. Let me tell you a quick story. This guy, he was dominating like the StarCraft circuit at LAN ETS. In between games, this guy was playing League of Legends. He wasn't practicing for anything. He just knew his capabilities. Come game day, he wakes up late. He thought the tournament was at like 10 o'clock, but the tournament was at like 8 o'clock, okay? So the officials, they were like, one of my buddies, Dave, was there. He was trying to like reason with the officials, like he's coming, he's just late, like yada, yada, yada. It was a best of 7, and they docked him 3 games. So he had to win all 4 games to take home the money, to take home the title. And guess what happened? I mean, obviously, the story, Cinderella, he wins all 4 games, and the guy rage quits, throws his keyboard across the room. So this guy, I think he's going to go far. I'm rooting for Massa. I'm rooting for Huck. I hope that it's a final of 2 Canadians. I'm looking forward to it. But yeah, just thought I would like give it like a short plug, because you rarely see Canada on such a big stage, right? So got to give a shout out to those two, Huck and Massa. You guys are going to be representing us.
Okay, I'm so bad at Counter-Strike. Let's go back to League for a bit. I love Counter-Strike.
StarCraft.
Sorry, StarCraft. I love StarCraft. It's a great esport to watch. I'm horrible at it. We'll save that for maybe we can find a guest.
All right.
Who knows more.
Now we're going to go over to CS:GO. We're done with League of Legends for today, ladies and gentlemen. 40 minutes of it is quite a long time. Just a quick touch on CS:GO. Tell us what's going on, Lord Joseph.
So, yeah, basically the next major is coming up in Columbus. It's going to be really, really cool. 6 teams were invited from the last major, so they were the top half of the teams from the last major, so they're automatically coming to the next one. They don't have to do anything. They don't even have to have the same players. They're automatically there. The bottom 6 teams have to win the qualifier. So there will be 12 teams at this one qualifier. Half of them would go to the major. So you would expect the best teams like from North America and Europe that are left over to make it on, basically. And out of the 6 teams, so there's G2, who are one of the best out of this group, so there's no surprises there. Mouse, who've gone to most of the majors as well, they're pretty decently. And then, so this is also an order of the teams that won, so they're the highest seed is to the lowest seed.
Mm-hmm.
Then you have Splice, and Splice, unlike in Europe, unlike an LCS, how they're a European team, this is a North American Counter-Strike team, and they're like a tier 2 team. They're not the best in the region by far. Like they're like top 6 in NA basically. They're seeded 3rd basically. Mm-hmm. Right below them is Gambit, another European Russian team, and that's the same Gambit from the LCS, that Russian organization, and they're barely staying alive in Counter-Strike, and I cannot believe that they are seeded 4th. Just a bunch of random Russian people, somehow seeded higher. And then you have Flipside, who are another team who have gone to most majors. They're decent. And this is where it gets interesting, because on the last day, 3 teams Team Liquid actually qualified the second last day, so that was they actually almost got eliminated, which is kind of embarrassing. They almost didn't go, but they got seeded there. And then on the last day, there's 2 matches there are 3 matches, and 2 of them had CLG and Cloud9 in them in 2 different matches. Both of these teams almost didn't get to go to the qualifier. These are 2 of the top 3 NA teams, and they almost didn't go to the first North American Counter-Strike major of all time.
Yikes.
That would have been so embarrassing, especially the teams that would have eliminated them. That qualifier, I was so nervous because some of the games were really close. Like some went into overtime, some went to the very last rounds. I was extremely scared because these teams have gone to most of the majors. They are really known in the community, and it was a huge scare, and it would have been extremely embarrassing if they didn't go to this major. But in the end, they clutched it out. So for the first time ever, there are 4 North American teams in a Counter-Strike major, which is great because it's the first one in North America. So that's fantastic. It's a little silly how Splice is seeded way higher than the top 3 teams in NA, but still, they're going. It's fine.
So, sorry about that. Just playing around with the levels here just a little bit. That's all we got for CS:GO and League of Legends. Let's go into our discussion of the week. Ladies and gentlemen, if you want to participate, You can reach us at RU _esports on Twitter. Very simple, RU _esports on Twitter. And today we're going to be talking about a very interesting topic. Dota 2 very recently is currently having their major called the Shanghai Major, very creative name. And they had hired on a host by the name of 2GD, otherwise known as Too Good. And he was, after the second day, he was fired due to his methodology of hosting and the way that he spoke. He was, he made, like, in the first day, in the opening day, he made like a porn joke, and like he was just, I guess, like, for them, like, it just wasn't their style, or it wasn't like it wasn't Valve's. It wasn't the way that they wanted the Shanghai Major to be hosted, I assume. And Gabe Newell, the quietest man on earth, commented, "James, we've had issues with James at previous events. Some Valve people lobbied to bring him back for Shanghai, feeling that he deserved another chance. That was a mistake. James is an ass, and we won't be working with him again." Gabe Newell steps out of the darkness of Half-Life 3 and says James is an ass.
Yeah, he literally says. That's not even like paraphrase. That's not even like mixing up his words. That's literally what he said. He said James is an ass.
Yeah.
Those words.
Absolutely.
That's a little unprofessional.
Yeah, no.
But just a little bit. Like, Gabe could do whatever he wants. He's Gabe Newell, but
yeah.
God, wow. Like, I don't know much about these people. I know about Gabe, but I don't know about the Dota scene much, but this guy must have really done something to piss him off. I was trying to look into this. I couldn't find much. I don't know much about Dota or its personalities, but yeah, like, wow. It just seemed the whole tournament went to hell, basically. Like, the production was bad, apparently.
Yeah. That's a thing. However, our discussion for the week, we bring up this issue is because Too Good kind of
this is James, right? That was
James. Yeah, James.
We'll call him James.
James, sure.
Yeah.
He's more like on the entertainer side. So what that means is he has a fan base, and when he was coming into this event, he was under the assumption that he wanted to broadcast pretty much, how what people know him for, right? He hosted International 2, he hosted International 3, he hosted International 4. So he's been a part of the Dota community, but when he first started, he had no clue what Dota was at all. What he does mainly, he's not mainly a commentator. He doesn't mainly do stuff for Dota, but he's a game developer. So he's been, kind of doing his own thing on the side. And even when he was coming into this event, Ice Frog supported him. Now, the discussion comes from, should personalities host big tournaments? Now, what we have right now, let's say in League of Legends or CSGO, is we have knowledgeable people who know about the scene, who know about the history. In Smash, that's the exact same thing. Actually, let's bring up Smash. Let's bring up Smash, because sometimes we know Mango is quite the personality. We know Leffen is this big shit talker that's what he's known for, but his game backs it up. Sometimes these people come on and they do interviews, and sometimes they even do commentary. Sometimes they're even there to talk about the game that just happened or whatever. What are people's thoughts on personalities as hosts? Now, my opinion is this guy was doing his job by entertaining. Of course, he got mixed reviews, and he probably could have went a better way about it. But as a host, I think your job is to host and to transition from one element to the next, and sometimes it requires you to be funny, to be entertaining, to be engaging. You don't necessarily need to be a genius at the game. You kind of just need to know what it is. But your entertainment value, if it's not going well, it's like a double-edged sword, right? Like, if you get somebody who's not knowledgeable about the game and they're really funny, you might benefit from the humor, but if the humor doesn't go well, you're out of luck.
One of my favorite hosts or analysts or whatever you want to call him is Thorin, and he is not liked by a lot of people, specifically Polish and Brazilian people, and those are for other reasons. But a lot of people just don't like him, mainly because he just says what's on his mind, and that can be a good quality, it can be a really bad quality. It can work for him, it can make people love him, it can also make people hate him a lot. But when he's on the desk, usually the organizers will tell him, okay, go wild, say what you want, go crazy. We love that. Like, we love to see how crazy you can go and how much fun you can have. Some people are like, tell him, okay, keep it down a little, like keep it like relaxed. But when he is in his element, he is the most entertaining person on that desk, and he will make you like. Usually those segments are just for filler, like, okay, maybe there's a delay, there's a PC delay that they have to stall, they have to talk about something. And when you're like, I'm not gonna lie, when you watch like LCS, who really listens to what like the commentators are saying when they have to fill? Like, oh, like they're playing great, like what? Like,
like for me, Kobe.
Yeah,
when he fills, I wanna kill myself.
It's okay, like it's okay, it's fine, but like, rarely are you really engaged in what they say, and Thorin is always engaging. Like, I don't know if you saw this clip, but he was talking about there's a French team in Counter-Strike playing some other team, and basically the comparison he made, the French team lost, I'm pretty sure, and the comparison he made, he wanted to show the viewers like how badly they lost. He pulled out a French baguette and starts slamming it on the desk. Like, is that not entertaining? Is that not get the message across?
Yeah, no, that's funny, but like I think like that's what I was talking about, like this particular humor that might go well with some people. But now before you jump in, we were tweeted at about this discussion.
I just saw that.
Jackson Furrow, good friend of mine, he said it's been good in the past. Example with Chobra, DJ Wheat, Seltzer, please.
I love Chobra.
Me too. Big fan. But you wouldn't have someone like Thorin host. He's made for the desk.
Yeah, no, I agree. I agree with that.
So pretty much what Jackson here is saying is that it's worked in the past, but there are some personalities that just wouldn't cut out for hosting. They're a lot better. I think there's personalities who are mediocre at hosting. Like, for example, this is like, I just have to bring it outside of esports. Like, who hosted the Oscars? Was it Chris Rock? I think.
Yeah, Chris Rock. Yeah.
He did. His humor was good for the audience. It fit the audience. He was a good host. Now there are some personalities that are just better on desks, and why? Because of banter, because they're able to jump off of points and they're able to bring their own comedic humor to the desk. And I think that as a producer, I will be a lot more lighthearted if the person on the desk was making like obscene jokes than if the host was. I feel like if you're a host, like your responsibility is to have like this clear image for the company.
Right. Okay.
Right?
That's true. That's true. So if Thorin is made for the desk, I think the perfect complement to him in a host is Richard Lewis. Now, in League of Legends, we're definitely not going to see Thorin and Richard Lewis with the host and the analyst combo. But in Counter-Strike, it's actually it's happening a lot more, especially not with ESL events because of their like some things that have happened in the past. But now with the MLG major, they have nothing to do with ESL, so they can hire whoever they want. So of course they have Richard Lewis, I think is the host. And they have Thorin on the desk. And when this Richard Lewis is also kind of like, he also says what he wants. And I think a lot more people really don't like him, especially in Dota. But he's pretty cool. Like, he's pretty cool. He keeps it really cool when he's the host. Like, he doesn't do anything too edgy. He doesn't like make any like bad jokes or anything like that. He's usually pretty calm. He keeps the conversation going. He is an amazing host. He's a perfect host at points. He rarely like, not many things throw him off, and there are like incidents that have kind of like messed with him a little bit, but he is the perfect complement to Thorin. So if Thorin is made for the desk, then I definitely think Richard Lewis is an amazing host.
Sure. Now, another example that I wanted to bring in, and now these are people who actually work in the industry, right? These are people who are already established. They're like, we're using examples that are real, but I'm under the impressions that there are going to be opportunities in the future where a production company might choose to bring somebody who's got a particular entertainment value. So
like
let's
who?
say, for example, there was a World of Warcraft tournament and Soda Poppin was the host. I think that will be a terrible idea. Now, he might be good, like Thorin, for example, for the desk. I've watched Soda Poppin stream, and when he does the arenas, he's very knowledgeable. He talks about what he's doing, like he's in it. He's in it to sometimes be educational to his viewers, like 10% of the time, which is rarely. But he wouldn't be a good host, and that's like, it literally brings home the point of like, I just think like as a host, your job is to like transition from one point to the next. Like you're not really like you can be there for entertainment value, but if you go overboard, you're gonna get ripped to shreds, and it's a credibility issue. If you're hosting, let's say like a desk, and let's say you're also a part of the analysis of the desk, I feel like your credibility isn't as important because you're hosting the desk, you're not hosting the event. It's a big difference.
You kind of are hosting the event.
No, like I know, but if you're hosting the desk, you're making sure that the flow, the ebb and flow of the conversation on the desk is going a particular path. So let's say Thorin and a bunch of other CS:GO commentators are like bantering about Mongols and how great they are, and then Richard all of a sudden is like, you know what? Let's talk about Na'Vi. Richard's goal as a host is to direct the flow of conversation, whereas the job of a host of Chobra is to.
You mean like an onstage host?
An onstage host. That's what this guy was. The way that Dota works, I assume, is that he was hosting the venue. He was hosting the entire thing, but he was also hosting the desk at the same time.
Okay, so those are two different things, though, because the desk host hosts it for everybody watching online or TV or whatever it is, the viewers at home. The stage host is hosting it just for the people in the audience. And I mean, if you have to say which one's more important, I think that the guy in the desk is way more important because there's way more people watching. That's the impression that's going to be left like for the rest of time when people start talking about this in the future. The guy who's like on stage, like he hypes the people up and that's entertainment and great, but you just need a hype man. That's all you need on stage.
It's true, but
you really need to know.
The hype man is generally also a part of the stream. You'll see the person on the stream.
Oh yeah, of course.
And I've seen Chobra on both sides of the spectrum. Chobra's been a commentator. Yeah. Chobra's been a host desk.
He is definitely a hype man.
He's done it all.
Do you remember? I think was it last year at IEM? He was like the hype man on stage. He's like. He's SKT.
Yeah,
that was great.
I don't remember who that Korean.
Yeah, the Korean guy. That's who he's trying to. Everybody loved him.
Yeah,
and he's just like, SKT.
Yeah, but
that was great.
It's interesting that there's like this cross mix up of being a host for the stage and then being a host for the desk. Now I do have to point out that I think being a host on a desk, like a producer might give you some slack if you're doing some funky stuff, right? Like I think a host, like the desk is supposed to be a little lighthearted, like the way that Thorin and some people like to dissect on the desk is like they like to go really, really aggressive into it, and they'll like call out teams for like really, really interesting mistakes, which is understandable. Like I get it, that's fine. Like that's a part of the desk. Like I think that if you're not having a lighthearted desk, like I think in League of Legends, the desk is boring. It's really
so
boring. Yeah. But at the World Championships, they get like the best commentators from across.
And people love it.
And people love it. It's great. Yeah.
There's all these Reddit posts. Oh, look at this banter they're having. Banter is amazing because it gets people into the game and it keeps them like interested. When you're just talking about like boring stuff, like when you're in the desk and there's just like you just get some random player on the desk. It's like, who cares? Like who cares what made him pick Udyr or something, I want to see banter. I want to see what people actually think about the game. I don't want their feelings to be, like their true feelings to be bottled up because it's not appropriate, The saying is, it's a family show, I think they use that in for all the ESL stuff. It's a family show. Esports doesn't have to be a family show.
Yeah.
And you see that. You see that with ESL events. They try to make it like a family friendly. Like obviously it's about shooting people and killing people, but like in terms of like their banter and stuff, it's very it's very analytical. But these other events, especially like that's why I love Counter-Strike. That's what I love about this is that at other organizers like MLG and CEVO and all that, they are not under those restrictions and they can just say whatever they want and it's so entertaining and they go crazy. They are really, really edgy and it's so much fun to watch.
Wow. What a discussion we've had here today at RU ESports. We're just about at the end of our show. Now, just very quickly, Lord Joseph, entertainers and personalities as hosts, yes or no? Just yes or no?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, I'm going to have to agree with that. Seems to be working.
You got to get the right people.
Yeah,
right?
You get the
That's
right
what
people.
We agree.
You get the right people. Okay. Thank you guys for coming out to the show this week. Hope you guys.
I have a shout out.
Shout out?
Yeah, they actually shouted out. They did a shout out for us on their show. On Fridays at 2 p.m. There's a show called Beyond the Numbers on this exact same station. It's a sports show, and they talk about like all sorts of different sports, not just hockey and stuff. They talk about NASCAR or whatever. They do all. It's very entertaining. It's by my friend Christian and Sean, and it's really, really cool. I listen to them every week. You guys should listen to them too. That's Fridays at 2 p.m.
And also listen to our show Tuesday nights at 10 p.m. I mean, obviously,
Every week.
RU ESports, you should be. That's just going to be about it for us here at RU ESports. Hope you guys enjoyed the show.